All right, y'all. No real no real point to this picture, just a picture. But I thought I'd share that at work this week I used my most convincing Mandela Effect or reality shift, you could call it. I used my most convincing one with an old friend at work just on Friday, and so I gave notice at the job, and I might have overreacted a little bit by saying that they're posting a job to replace me and any of that stuff. I do believe that they were just hiring a second senior manager, not just trying to replace me. But well, that's a whole nother story. So I've been going out to lunch or coffee with a lot of people, and there's a facility right next door to mine where some of my old buddies work too. So I'm getting breakfast and tell them about the new role that I'm about to launch into, and I'll be flying all over in facilities around the nation. And we're just talking about the old days. I've known this guy since 2012. And back in late 2016 is when my big God experience and the Mandela Effect and all that happened. And I told everybody around me completely, about that. But we had breakfast, and then we went around and toured the back of this facility and met some other people that I used to know, and we just talked. Must have been an hour. I'd say an hour went by. And as we were going, we're in the elevator, and he said, "Do you still believe all that stuff about logos changing and all that?" So he brought that up. I hadn't brought it up, once because I don't talk. I don't really. There's no point in talking about this stuff anymore. I just don't. I don't. But this guy is he's a very skilled mechanical technician, and he definitely knows HVAC real well and things like that. So I said, let me tell you the biggest. I said that the world that we live in is not consistent. It's changing. It's fluid. The timelines change. So let me share with you one of the biggest ones that happened to me. But there's been 1,000 things that have changed. But this is one of the biggest impactful ones, I'd say. I mean, it's definitely in that top 10 or top 20 category. And I said, you should be able to relate to this. I said, United Refrigeration. I shopped there for about 10 years. And United Refrigeration on North Sylvania. He said, yeah, I know it. And I said, there's a train supply house, and there's a United Refrigeration. And I used to always go to United Refrigeration because Train was just too good for me. They want to sell to contractors or companies that buy from them. They don't want to just sell to somebody off the street, cash account stuff. But I wasn't working for a company. I was just buying parts for my own personal repairs and repairs with my neighbors and friends. I wasn't like, working for a big company. So I would go in there probably every summer and buy some stuff, just cash. And he was like agreeing, yeah, I know United Refrigeration. It was like, oh, great. He remembers it on North Sylvania. And he did, it seemed like he did for a moment. And he was like, no. He said, no, wait, they're down Meacham. They're not on North Sylvania. I was like, oh, God. I said, yeah, well, for you, maybe. But for me, up until 2018, that warehouse has always been on North Sylvania. All those years I went and shopped there. It wasn't until one day in 2018 where I'm driving to go pick up some parts, and it wasn't there. It was gone. So I put it in my GPS, and now I find it's down Meacham. He said, yeah, no. He said, it's always been down Meacham. I said, dude, I said, listen to me. I shopped at this supply house for 10 freaking years. I know where it was. In fact, where it moved to, like where the timeline shifted and where they say they've always been, I've never been that far down that road. I mean, there's some hotels on that corner and a strip club, and I used to manage some of those hotels in that area. I never been down past that corner. There's nothing but farmland. But now it's just a little further past that corner, and it's always been there in this timeline. And he's like, I just can't believe you. And I'm like, I know. It sounds like way too much to believe, but I'm telling you, timelines change, and this was my timeline. Now, when he was first agreeing with me that there was the supply house for United Refrigeration in North Sylvania, I thought, well, he does remember, but then he quickly updated and said, no, it's always been down Meacham. And I thought, I've had that happen too with another technician. I thought, is it possible that their brain is it the same timeline and their brains are just getting rewritten just in the moment on the fly? I don't know. The jury's out a little bit on that one. I can't say what it is, but that was interesting. I only brought it up because he brought it up. I wasn't going to bring up reality shifting at all, but he wanted to bring it up, and then I could tell after he brought it up, he regretted bringing it up, and I regretted talking about it. So it was one of those, like, I should just pretend I don't know what he's talking about, but no, I can't do that. I've got to be a little more authentic than that. And okay, I lost track of my recording device, so doggone it, where did the button go? And it's gone. And that's probably the reason. I don't know if any of this is, there it is. Okay, I'm still recording, good. Let's pause for a second, if I can find it. There it is. All right, let me play another clip from Pockets of the Future. I like listening to Paul sometimes. He's about, he's like 60. I'm about to turn 57. We're of the same generation. He's got a lot of same views that I have about the lies of this world. But I don't think he's Mandela affected. He's never talked about the Mandela effect. He must know about it. But I wanted to share this clip.
Like what you feel about your path, and you feel good about what you're doing on a deeper level, not some superficial bullshit where you look in the mirror and you tell yourself how beautiful you are, like some the Wicked Witch or the Wicked Stepmother in Snow White. These things, mirror, mirror on the wall, right? It's when you look at yourself and you're like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. I'm gonna have to do better, right? Like if you confront your own negative thoughts, you confront your own the evil inside of you, the negative part of you, that's the ego, the potential demon, and you embrace the soul within.
All right, so I just wanted to share, that mirror, mirror on the wall, and he says a lot of insightful things that I would agree with, but mirror, mirror on the wall, he's same generation, he knows it as well. For all those debunkers that want to say it's because the book says mirror, mirror on the wall, but the movie doesn't. That's just nonsense. We didn't read books. We watched the movie. That's what we did. Nobody's reading. None of us guys were reading the story Snow White. we saw the movie. We quoted the line. It's always been our whole life. Mirror, mirror on the wall. That Mandela effect is one of the top 10 or whatever. It's way up there. There does seem to be, like, especially when I first was doing my little surveys, everybody remembered mirror, mirror on the wall until they got their update. So another argument about whether or not we're intertwined with the multiple streams of timelines, or if there's some kind of mind hypnotism going on. But Paul is right there with me on the mirror and mirror. But most people, almost everybody was there with the mirror, mirror on the wall thing. That's such of a strong one. So I wanted to just share that. There have been a lot of also just warm wishes and goodbyes all around at work. In some ways, I'm going to miss the place. One of the ways is, I'm leaving a position that was well paid, but there just wasn't enough to do. And I realized that one of the things that I really hated the most about the job was I was being pushed out of the circle, where I was more involved with bigger decisions and on bigger meetings. Once they started staffing up and they hired the new regional manager, all of a sudden I was just like kind of left to the side, and it's weird to be paid a lot of money to do the trivial things. Like, this is just nonsense. We aren't doing anything here. And that just didn't sit right. But oh well. Well, we're about to get busy again, and hopefully it's going to be exciting and fun, and it's going to be a lot of travel. And everybody's telling me you're going to get sick of the travel real quick, and who knows? Maybe I will, but I'll be flying to. It'll be like leaving on Sunday and coming back on Thursday, I believe. Going to California, New York, New Jersey, Oregon, Michigan, Tennessee, just all over the place, and just spend a week in some town and then fly back. But some excitement. Should be a interesting job, and I'm just wrapping up, cleaning up the desk. That was something the old buddies joke with me about, is how messy my desk and office always was. And I was like, it's hard for me to be messy now. They just give me this bare desk to work on, and then I don't have like an office like I used to. And now I'm just going to be mobile. I'm going to be basically bringing my office in a suitcase, so I'm not going to be able to be messy. But reality's fun for now, but we're watching the devolution of society and the breakdown. Oh, this is one thing I wanted to share. So there's me, and then there's the regional manager who got the job I should have gotten, and then there's his boss, who used to be, for the longest time, I reported directly to her, and then so she's over all of America, and then there's her boss, who's over the entire account globally, every single account, and we all sit in the same area. Because I would get to work every day at 5 a.m., she would often, when she came into the office, she was there at 7. And between 7 and 8, nobody was really at the office. It was just us. And we often had little sidebar conversations. And I figured out pretty quickly, just because when you're talking to somebody, when they're a truther, they've got that truther vibe, or you put out a statement and you see how they respond. And you're like, yeah, they're picking up, they're saying the right thing. So I knew she was a truther. Now, in terms of being a truther, she's like I was back in 2008. When I was realizing the world is the 7-Eleven job application that happened in 2001, and all of the shenanigans with the banking system, and we work for the banking system. Basically, we maintain the facilities of these global bastards. Charles Schwab and Fidelity and BlackRock and all these big financial institutions. This is the banking world, the JP Morgans. We're taking care of these offices for them. And she, real, high level person, she's aware of how corrupt the whole system is. And so I gave my notice Thursday morning. I let her know first that I was leaving. She said, "Oh, we got to talk more." And she was just like really sad to see it, but she had to jump on a meeting. So later on in the day, she said, "Well, let's go talk." And we went into a side office, and I thought, she's going to be like doing an exit interview, find out what's the reason for you leaving, why were you unsatisfied. We did talk about me going to this new job and what my responsibilities were for, but she instantly switched over. She said, I'm really going to miss having you around here, because you were the only person. She said, I told my husband, you're the only person in the world that she can just be free to talk about this stuff. And she joked about how when somebody would come around, we just hush up about it. So there's these covert truthers just popping up all over the place. And they might even have very high responsible positions in corporate America, even for these bankers, but they're popping up all over the place. Now, I never talked to her about reality shifting or timelines or anything like that. It's just I kept it pretty elementary, just with, this is a very manipulated society. The national debt's crazy. It's amazing that they've kept this thing going this long. It's also unreal. But I thought it was funny that the biggest thing she wanted to talk about is how we're both on the same page with a lot of things. So anyway, it's a fun time wrapping up at work. It's really weird to just hand off even the few responsibilities that I had over to others, and we're looking forward to the next adventure in this crazy shifting timeline reality. But I did tell that guy that I was telling about the supply warehouse that shifted. I said, really haven't seen much. It tapered off I'd say from 2016 to 2018 somewhere, and it just kind of fizzled down, and I'm just not seeing all the craziness. I might see something that maybe happened a while ago, but I'm not seeing reality shift like from one week to the other. No major, like for a while there, it was like very in the moment things were shifting. But anyway, that's just my update for today. Hope you all have a great weekend and God bless.